Colossos Kampf Der Giganten is an intimate prefabricated wooden roller coaster located at Heide Park in Germany. This huge wooden roller coaster is often described as Eltoro's little sister, but lucky for the Heide Park visitors, this roller coaster has actually gotten the whole refurbishment that Eltoro actually deserves. Almost the whole track layout on Colossos has been replaced with iron track, and that means it is glossy smooth just like a Vekoma new gen. But is this roller coaster just as impressive as Eltoro, or is it worse or better? We're gonna find out in this review, man. For the purpose of the viewer's attention span, I'm gonna go over this review as quickly as possible. So first I'm gonna start with the overall stats of the ride, then we're gonna talk about the whole layout, and then in the end I'm gonna talk about the overall thoughts, including pros and cons, and then I'm gonna give it a score from 1 to 10. So let's go. Colossos Kampf Der Giganten opened all the way back in 2001, but it got the refurbishment and opened again in 2019. Colossos stands 164 feet tall, and that is 50 meters, and that makes it the tallest wooden roller coaster in Germany. The drop is a bit shorter, it is 159 feet, and that is 48.5 meters. The length of the ride is 4,409 feet, and that is 1,344 meters. The maximum speed is 68 miles per hour, and that is 110 kilometers per hour. Now let us quickly talk about the awesome presentation of this ride. The main station on Colossus is heavily themed, and it has a very awesome atmosphere. The atmosphere in the station is dark and gritty, and that perfectly aligns with the story of this roller coaster. The story is shortly described a beast that eats wood and the riders, and then it keeps itself alive. Yes, simple but great. But one of the best parts of this ride's theming is the big beast they have made after the refurbishment. The roller coaster goes through the huge beast. As the riders come near the beast, the fire bursts out of his head, and that looks really awesome. Speaking of awesome, the trains on the intimate prefabricated roller coasters are awesome. They have a simple T-bar restraint, but it's just what you need. It's perfect for their time. So now I'm going to talk about the whole layout on Colossus, and I'm going to describe what you feel when you ride this roller coaster. First of all, you go up this huge wooden roller coaster lift hill. At the top, the train then turns at a small incline, creating the anticipation for the drop. Then the riders go down the huge first drop, giving floater airtime in the front and flowjector airtime in the back row. Then Colossus flies into the first huge airtime hill, creating strong flowjector airtime for the whole train. Then shortly after that, Colossus flies into another huge airtime hill, and yet again it gives strong flowjector airtime throughout the whole train. Then Colossus flies into its turnaround section, where it goes up and then it goes downwards and banks to the right. This turnaround element is almost too big because it doesn't really do anything for the train, only a bit of mild floater airtime for the front row. Colossus then slowly banks to the left and goes up into another airtime moment, giving mild floater airtime in the front and mild flowjector airtime in the back row. Colossus then flies down to the ground and goes over a low to the ground airtime hill, but this airtime hill is so drawn out that it doesn't really give anything for the riders, only a bit of floater airtime if you are lucky. Then Colossus goes upwards again, killing all the speed, and then into a very big helix. This helix is so big and drawn out that it kills the whole speed on this ride. Colossus then slowly gains its speed as the helix goes downwards. Once you finally turn 450 degrees on this helix, you go into another airtime hill that gives decent flowjector airtime throughout the whole train. After that, the riders go into another airtime hill, giving decent flowjector airtime yet again, and Colossus really finishes strong with another airtime hill through the giant's mouth. And this is a really awesome ending, combining pyrotechnics on the beast and an awesome flowjector airtime hill with a head chopper element through its mouth. Once you've finally gone through the whole beast, you slowly bank to the right, and after this final bank turn, you slowly go into the brake run. And that concludes the whole ride layout on Colossus Kampf Der Giganten. Now I'm gonna talk about my overall thoughts on this ride, giving pros and cons, and then I'm gonna give it a score from 1 to 10. This roller coaster really has some world-class element, but it also has some very bad moments. The first part of Colossus Kampf Der Giganten is just as great as Eltoro's. This first drop gives strong flowjector airtime, especially in the back row, and the amazing airtime on the camelbacks can't be described. You just need to try it. But the second part of this ride, where it turns around and goes back to its lift hill, is bad. Here you don't really have any outstanding elements except a few airtime pops here and there, and these airtime pops are so mild that I can't even remember if it got airtime, and that's a problem. And not to mention the huge and unnecessary helix. Oh my god, it's so slow. But the third and final part of Colossus makes up for it. Here you have 3 awesome consecutive airtime hills hills that give projector airtime throughout the whole train. And going through these 3 airtime hills, you can't stop looking at the behemoth of a monster they've made for this roller coaster. The look and loud sound of the fire bursting is just a spectacle to look at. So what am I going to give Colossos Kampf Der Giganten? I'm gonna give this roller coaster an 8.5 out of 10. Colossos really has an awesome first half that rivals Eltoro, but that gets completely destroyed after the turnaround section, unfortunately. But Colossos makes up for it with a spectacle of an ending. Colossos Kampf Der Giganten is also the most popular ride at Heide Park, and it's very easy to see why, because this roller coaster really has some awesome airtime at the start, but it really has a good mix of mild forces and strong forces, and that's why it caters to most of the people that visit Heide Park. And it's also a really good coaster to start with if you need to go on the taller roller coaster but you're quite afraid, because it doesn't kill you, this one. Combined with a smooth ride experience and great comfort on the trains, you have a really good ride. So now we've reached the end of this video. Did you like my video? Did you hate my video? Let me know in the comments what you think of Colossos Kampf Der Giganten. Have you ridden this roller coaster, or do you plan on to ride Colossos Kampf Der Giganten? And at the end of the day, I'm always gonna say bye bye.